Hi, and welcome to At-Home Art Lessons with the Art Groupies. The Art Groupies help us develop great art habits so we can become better artists. The art groupie that we're going to learn about today is a new groupie. His name is Stretch. Stretch E to be exact. He likes to play, he likes to experiment, and he likes to take risks. He tries things that he's never done before. He likes to explore. So stretch. So try something new with this project. The artist that we're going to be learning about and talking about today is both an author and an illustrator. Her name is Lois Elhert. She writes mostly children's books, and a lot of them have to do with nature. This one in particular is a book about fish eyes, and it helps you to count. So it's also about nature and math. So Lois Elhert. So I'm going to read you the story. If I could put on a suit of scales. I like how she made all different polka dots for her scales. Add some fins and one of these tails. I'd close my eyes and then I'd wish that I'd turn into a beautiful fish. I'd flip down rivers and splash in the sea. I'd swim so far you would never catch me. I'd see one green fish, two jumping fish, three smiling fish, four striped fish, five spotted fish, six fantail fish, seven flipping fish, eight skinny fish, nine flashy fish, and 10 darting fish. Then I'd keep swimming until I would see all of those fish eyes looking at me. So, Lois did an awesome job with showing you a lot of different shapes that you can use for your fish. And that's what we are going to be creating today. So your shapes can be organic or geometric. We're going to be using felt. Felt has a nice texture. I glued my felt on to a back of a piece of cardboard just because it made it more sturdier for me to work. I found cutting out felt was kind of difficult, so what I decided to do was to glue them all on the back of a piece of cardboard because it made it much easier. So I took up some boxes. I would take some shapes, either draw them free-handed or trace them. I'm going to use, I believe, this star for my fins and my tail. So I would trace the shape, making sure that marker stays nice and close up to the edge, and then taking my scissors, I'd cut right on that line the best I can, using that helper hand to move the cardboard. You don't want to have those scissors facing towards you. You always want to keep them cutting away from you. You always want to have your thumb up top, so always think thumbs up makes for better cutting. So I'm staying right on that line with my scissors. So my purple is going to be the background, my water say. I'm going to take my star and I'm going to add some glue. You can be very generous with your glue because the felt is a fabric that will suck it up and be like you never even glued it on at all. So I'm going to put that on there. The best is to probably wait a little bit. It's much easier to cut it out once you wait a little bit and it's definitely secure on the cardboard. I don't have that kind of time. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I would just cut. And it really makes it a lot easier cutting the felt out. And you always want to use not the tip of your scissor, but more in towards the inside part of that scissor blade. Cuts much easier. So get that out of the way. Continue cutting. If you don't have felt, you can use whatever material you have available to you. You can use fabric. If you don't have any fabric to use, if your mom or dad is putting out some old clothes for Goodwill, maybe you can use an old shirt, old dish towel. So there's my star that I'm going to be using. This one is going to be used for the tail. So I'm going to cut into my star, and I'm still going to use these other shapes, I think, for my fish. I'm going to use this up here for the fin up top. And I'm going to use, you know what, I think I'll use this fin for down here, and I'll use the whole star that I glued previous. And that will be my fishtail. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now, with decorating your fish, I found some really cool little gemstones, and I repeated them, making a nice little pattern. This is probably good for the scales of the fish. So I'll just glue them down. They're actually sticky, so they're already on there. So I'll just press them down. Maybe I want to decorate maybe each one of the points of my star for my tail. Give it a little bit more decoration. I'm not going to glue it down on my base yet because I'm not really sure what I'm going to do in the background, and it might get in the way. So I might have to move it so I don't put some paint or other objects on it. So I'm going to glue a boogly woogly eye for my fish. I'm also going to lay some yarn down here for some stripes. Much easier if you lay the glue down first instead of putting or trying to put the glue on the yarn itself. That'll make one big mess. So remember, we're trying to be just like the old art group BDC and keeping a clean work surface. I think that one's long enough. There we go. So just some simple yarn. Boogly woogly eye to decorate. I'm now going to use maybe some yarn to make some fish food. Maybe he eats some plants. So I'm going to use another piece of yarn, and I'm going to lay that yarn right on top of that glue for the stem of my plant. And then I'm going to take And I'm not real, I don't think I need to glue this down onto the cardboard, because I'm okay just cutting out kind of oval shapes, and it's okay if they're not perfect because these are just going to be for my leaves. So I'm just randomly cutting out, and I don't want them all to look the same, so just gonna randomly cut with my scissors. And putting some excess glue again on top will help glue everything down. So I'm just going to lay some leaves on top of there. Not going to all glue them in one big clump. I'll spread it out so it's more of a variety coming down here. Go. Maybe over here I can glue down this cute little star I have. Maybe curl some pipe cleaners. Could be some seaweed. Put the glue down. I think I need another piece. There we go. If I have any some glue that has like puffy paint or fabric paint, I could definitely make some decorations with that. Could also use some paint and a simple fork to make some more texture down here at the bottom for what could look like some more seaweed or other fish food, and some life, some plant life down here at the bottom. So voila, here is my fish made out of felt. Now I wanted to also show you what you could do if you didn't have any felt. I used again a piece of cardboard, an old soda can box, and I used tissue paper and I glued strips of tissue paper down. I used that fork again. This time I added some pasta. I used two macaroni noodles together for the bubbles for the fish. I used some pasta over here for the seaweed, and I used one of those bow tie pastas to make a cool looking fish. I also tried one with some foam for the background, and again made that nice seaweed type plant. I also made a cute little crab down here with just a circle and cut into a circle. So, and used some stars for my scales and trying to show texture, and also created a pattern because I repeated the stars. Okay, so there you have it. Fish Eyes by Lois Elhert. Have fun creating, and I can't wait to see your shapes that you used for your fish.